we have one more experience sharing from Mr. Hitendra, who has done a big project of 250 ton capacity per annum at Koppal. Before he presents, we want to show you live activities from our unit. We have two Biofloc unit for research and training purpose at FRIC, Hebbard. Dr. Rajanna KB will be live from there. He will show you the field kit, tanks, water quality, also things. Now we are Dr. Rajanna, please, is live from the field from FRIC. Yeah, you're audible, Dr. Rajanna, you're audible.
Sir, everybody hearing?
Yes, yes.
Sir, good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Dr. Rajanna KB, working as assistant professor at the center. We have a set up two Biofloc tank under TSP grant funded by Karnataka Veterinary and Animal Fisheries Sciences University, Bidar. Each tank capacity having a 10,000 liter capacity. One is mesh supported tank. Another one is a PVC pipe supported tanks. And also we have provided central drainage for removing the sludge. And here we are filling the water. Almost the diameter one is 4.2 meter, another is 3.6 meter. Height is 1.2 meter. And also we have provided this spider air exit tube, spider air diffuser. That's a circular made it a PVC pipe for bedding the, and also provided control for regulator for adjusting the oxygen. After filling the water, we had a 1 kg of salt and 300 grams of dolomite added for each tank, and providing sufficient air with we have root blowers, 2 HP motors. And after this 3 to 4 days onwards, we also made inoculation for media preparation in each tank, each 100 liter tanks in the plastic tanks. We have in those tanks, we added 1 kg of jaggery plus 300 grams of probiotic commercially available, ever fresh probiotics we have used. After 3 days, 48 to 70 hours, this inoculation media will be shifted to these tanks, Biofloc tanks. After 3 days onwards, up to almost 7 to 8 days onwards, during sufficient aeration, we observe the water quality and also floc density under the different water quality parameters, everything under maintaining. Then 8 to 9 days onwards, we are stocking for fish. Presently, we are stocked tilapia, monosex tilapia. One more tank is fungaceous. So each tank stocked 1,000 numbers. And accordingly, we are giving 4% of feed as per the body weight at the rate of 30% of protein. And also we are giving a different size of the feed providing based on the size of the fish. Commercial feed, floating feed we are providing. And also regularly we are monitoring this water quality parameter, and also based on the percentage of feed protein and tan, we are calculating the same ratio. Based on that, we are adding carbon sources. We are using mainly carbon sources as sugar as using. And frequently we are 10 days the water, and also 15 tons we are giving a nitrogen media to the tanks. These are the procedures we are following in this our systems. And also we are also having a IMAP phone. Just now we are put it for this floc water for this IMAP phone. Now that floc will be settled down in the up to 20 centimeter already settled down. That's the floc will be settlement period will be minimum 30 minutes. Then the floc density will be 10 to 20 ml is settlement within a particular period. It will shows that our water will be good. It's a sufficient floc will be there, because this is the methods we are following. And also this we have also power backup generator, 25 kV kiloscale generator, and also root burr and auto power backup also we have provided for sufficient 24 hours to 7 providing oxygen for the entire period. Just this is a 1.5 month old culture tanks. This just we are putting fish is the we are adding a feed that the fish will be also coming. There is nothing. Full of
Rajana?
of each tank, sir. Two tanks, sir, we have set up under TSP grant funded by Karnataka Veterinary and Animal Sciences Specialized University. With that, uh, one is a mesh supported tank, another one is a PVC supported tank, sir. It is almost 14,000 liter capacity. The other is another one is 10,000 liter capacity. It is a 4.2 diameter, 1.2 meter height. That one is 3.6 meter dia, 1.2 meter height. And also we have provided uh, aeration through spider blower, the diffuser pipe, uh, and providing a circular PVC pipe connected to the aeration. Also provided a central drainage. And before providing a central drainage also, and also filling the 10,000 liter of water for each tank. After finishing, we are adding 1 kg of salt and 300 grams of dolomite we are putting, and providing a sufficient aeration up to 3 days. After that, we are also preparing simultaneously uh, inoculation with 100 liter capacity tank, putting 1 kg of jaggery and 300 grams for probiotic commercially available. Uh, put inoculation, providing aeration. After 3 days onwards, those media will be inoculation to the these tanks, both the tanks. Up to 6 to 7 days on 10 days onwards. Drop shock and fill. Sir, ಕೇಳಿಸಿದ್ಯಾ? uh, Up to 7 to 8 days onwards, that's, the fishes will be stocked as per the testing the water quality matter parameters and flock all the parameters based on that. Going to stock for each tank 1,000 numbers of tilapia and 1,000 numbers of pangaea we have stocked. And regularly monitoring water quality and also testing the it's based on ammonia, water alkalinity, DO, TDS. Based on the ammonia, we are providing adding carbon sources as per the TAN and ammonia. This is a rim of coal, the 100 ml capacity. We are just now 1000 ml. Just now we are added this flock, the Biofloc water, tank water to this rim of coal. Just 20 minutes back. Just now the settlement of flock is up to 20 ml. This one. Actually, in Biofloc farming, the ideal settlement of flock is 10 to 20 ml as per the ideal. If 20 ml is settlement within half an hour, that's our tank flock density will be good for the and also these are the kits we are using for testing the regular water quality parameters. And also DO all of them. This it's IoT based monitoring for water quality parameter regularly. Some of the engineering students have installed this recently for this probes, the pH, salinity, and DO. Three parameters they are installed for regular monitoring for water quality parameters. The engineering students, final students, they have just 3 days back they will start for their project work, recording this water quality parameter through 1 week for getting the what are the parameters, comparing these parameters, comparing with our analytical methods. Any variations maybe you can find out. You can correlation with this IoT and analytical methods. Yes. Sensors. These are the sensors. Individual parameter sensors. pH, turbidity, alkalinity, temperature. 4 parameters we are recording uh, through IoT base. Sir,
Thank you, Dr.
thank
Rajendra.
thank you. Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Friends, for the information of the participants, engineering college students have approached us and they have developed sensors to analyze dissolved oxygen, pH, temperature, and turbidity on a continual basis every second. And they have installed the gadgets and we are trying to calibrate such commercial units through titration. Anyway, we're very happy, and Mr. Praveen will be joining us from Bidadi very soon. Before that, we are running short of time. We are
Sir,
late by 30 minutes.
sir,
Anyway,
sir,
yeah.
sir,
Uh,
sir, Maggie sir.
yes,
Hello,
please go ahead. Radhika, we are not seeing the video. You are audible.
sir,
What do you want to do?
sir, we are showing for root boy, sir.
Okay, okay. Plus, come on the video, please.
Video for me. Sir, what's that? Sir, coming video.
Okay, okay.
Sir, sir. Padma. Padma, video.
You can show the fishes also. You can show the drag the fish and show the fish.
ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಿದ್ರು ಅದನ್ನ ಪಿನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಾ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಯಾವಾಗ
Okay. Now I request Mr. Hitendra to share his experiences, and he has done a big project in Karnataka. Be brief, Mr. Hitendra, and my colleagues will be sharing the slides. Please go ahead with the extempore.
Hello, am I audible?
Participants, please bear with us. Your time will not be wasted, even if it is extends by 40 or 60 minutes. Definitely, we are trying to connect the dot with all experienced people, and let us not have ambiguity, complex or mixed opinion on Biofloc. Let us come to the conclusion that it is viable if it is practiced as intended, as practiced by the successful people. Arsha, please share the slides. Mr. Hitendra, please go ahead.
Yeah, hello. Thank you, Dr. Shivkumar, for this opportunity. And I would also like to thank the fishery department. This is the second time I'm participating in a webinar organized by Dr. Shivkumar. The first time was a little more technical, so this time I just want to keep my experiences and my learning that I've had from the past, say about a little more than a year when it comes to this particular farm and culture. And I would also like to sort of tell people what sort of work that our company has done. Hello. I'm not able to see my slides. Is it visible? Yeah. So this is the layout of our coupled project. This is a drone shot. So I mean, all other speakers have highlighted all the technical points. So this is just an overview of how our farm was constructed. This was constructed in 2019, and from 2020 onwards, we are into production. So as you can see, we have different units. So there's a nursery unit. Then from the nursery unit, there's a pre-growth unit, growth unit, and then the reservoir. So this is how the water treatment happens, and the settling happens in the reservoir. From the reservoir, it's pumped into our filter tanks, and from there on, it gets into the different tanks. So we also have a sludge tank. So this is where the excess sludge is pumped into, and to be clear about what are the volumes that we are dealing with is, many people have told different things. So I'll just show you what is visible in the slide. So if you look at the nursery section again is divided into many stages. So one of the person presented spoke about hospital tanks. Hospital tanks, those are there. The small ones, that's where the fish first come into, and as they grow, they progress into bigger tanks. So once they reach about 20 to 25 grams, you are done with the nursery section, and then they move on to the pre-growth section. So pre-growth section is where we grow them to about 150 odd grams, and then they go to the growth section. So if you look at the different dimensions, nursery sections, there are different dimension tanks, whereas pre-growth and growth section, the tanks are pretty big. So the pre-growth is about 15 to 16 meters, and the growth section is about 25 to 30-meter tanks. So these are geometric. So to conserve electricity, as in Karnataka, the electricity costs are very high. And also I would also bring to your notice that this is being done in open sunlight. So I have not been using any cover or anything. So if you observe, we are on a daily basis, on a regular basis, we are monitoring the system, because there were people telling that heterotrophic, autotrophic. Yes, so that is true. Heterotrophic, autotrophic is there. So both have their advantages. So in autotrophic, because this is a huge commercial farm wherein we are dealing with tons and tons of fish in each tank, whether it might be a small tank or a big tank, what I have noticed is the autotrophic system also helps me in cutting my power bills in the morning times. So and each of these tanks have many different types of variations. So if you can see, there are paddle wheel aerators, there is even diffusers, and there are injectors, venturies, all this. So the idea is to keep the flock suspended, but also the idea is to cut power bills, because we are a huge commercial farm. We are trying to make margins. So if you can observe the slide, you will see watercolor of different shades. So if what it clearly tells you is I'm having different densities of fish in each of these tanks, and each of these tanks are having a purpose maintained for a particular density, wherein my power and feed bills are minimized. So the use of molasses, all this can be sort of the nitrogen cycle, not only the heterotrophic, it's the autotrophic also, which can conduct. And all these tanks have central drains. So whenever there is huge amount of sludge and or flock densities, we do flush these tanks. But as mentioned earlier, the amount of water used is about say 1 to 2% per week. That is true. So but I would tell people that autotrophic and heterotrophic, you can continuously go back and forth depending on your stocking densities. So if your stocking densities are higher, automatically your system, whether it is in the sunlight or if not, it will automatically move towards the heterotrophic side, and then there you will have to maintain the aeration rates. So aeration rates you will have to maintain, and that will depend from system to system. There is no particular value. So your flock densities, the temperature of water, the salinity of water, there are different aspects which will affect the aeration. So that you will have to consult with someone who is experienced to understand what aeration needs you have. So this is a huge farm. We have about 21 different tanks to maintain. So can we go to the next slide? So yeah, these are our growth tanks. So if you can see these again, I've spoken about it in the previous webinar, and this webinar also many people have spoken about different aspects. So I would like to highlight that these are about 30-meter tanks, and we are able to keep the flock suspended, as well as reach production targets of over 20 tons per tank. So this now it's more than a year, and we have already established those production targets. So as I said, you'll have to monitor the aeration systems, the feed, and the carbon input. Carbon input again can be cut with the help of autotrophic system. So we do a lot of management, and again, when it comes to the growth tanks, the protein content of the feed is going to be less. So that itself will give you an idea of how we can manage it in bigger tanks. And as previously they have spoken also, I find it very, very interesting to work with big systems, and I see that profitability can only be achieved with larger tanks. And today there are all sort of mechanical aids to help you in both aeration as well as keeping the flock in suspension. Can we go to the next slide? Yeah. So last time when I was in the previous webinar, we had stuck only to tilapia. We were doing tilapia extensively, and Later on, we have done pangas, as well as now we are into shrimp farming. So shrimp farming, as I have mentioned, so this farm is banking on fresh water. So we get fresh water. It's not saline water. So as everyone else have also highlighted, so Biofloc is a very good method for shrimp farming, and that commercially it is being extensively used for shrimp farming. So some of the advantages that I have noticed in this method is, first of all, there's a huge savings on the FCR. So the feed quantity, you save a lot, especially in the initial days when the shrimp are very small. You save a lot on feed, and also because of excessive availability of your natural feeds, right? So the survivability of the shrimp is also very high compared to your normal pond or soil-based pond culture. Okay, so this I have established over the period of time, and now we have gone into a large amount of shrimp farming in this particular farm. And as Dr. Shivkumar had earlier mentioned, that the gut is always filled with feed, and there is no shortage of feed. So that is true. That is what we have mentioned, and also the health. When I compare the shrimp which is there in our tanks and the shrimp grown by people who are growing it in the earthen ponds, there's a huge amount of difference in the health of the shrimp. And also what I have noticed when it comes to shrimp farming is the input costs are reduced. The input costs are reduced when you use lined tanks, as you know, because shrimp, the particular variety that we are growing, Wanami, this is a salt water, this is a brackish water species. So you need to, in the initial days, you need to provide salt and other inorganic salts apart from your normal NaCl. You have to provide other inorganic salts. So those input costs are something which have reduced. That is a clear win-win situation. And the other aspect that I would highlight for shrimp farming especially is, see, the Biofloc, it acts like, see, shrimp don't have something known as memory cells, like how we have in terms of immunity. So our immunity, once we take a vaccine, for example, the COVID vaccine, the memory cells are built up in your system. And because of that, again, if the virus tries to infiltrate into your system, your body will be prepared, and your body will be better equipped to deal with this situation. But in shrimp, that's not the situation. They don't have a regular immune system like how we have. So what happens is, when there is presence of Biofloc, so these are the host of different microorganisms who are trying to ultimately sustain the equilibrium of the system. So if shrimp is part of the system, they are trying to help the shrimp also. So what happens is, if there is a pathogenic microorganism or virus or whatever, or Vibrio, whatever, if it's trying to come into the system, what this Biofloc will do is it will break it down, and it will highlight it in advance to the shrimp, so that the shrimp's immunity can deal with it. So this is a huge advantage. So biosecurity, as people keep mentioning in Biofloc technology, right? That is a win-win situation for both the organisms. So that is proven. And can we go to the next slide, please? Yeah. So because it's a large farm, right? Initially, I had to regularly be there on site and monitor it on a daily basis. So this was a challenge when work started piling up. You know, apart from this farm, there is a couple of other farms that we manage, and a lot of travel. So what eventually we did is, we developed a software, an app for our internal use as of now. So this software, there is a technician on the farm. He keeps uploading data. He keeps uploading all the technical data and the parameters of water on a daily basis. So remotely, I'm able to handle this farm very efficiently. So this is something which our company has hugely spent on the software, and this can be a module, especially just now in the department they were showing the tanks with automated sensors, right? So all these can be integrated. So this is work for the future, but as of now, our company has already invested into this, and I mean, right now there are a couple of automatic sensors which feed into the software also, wherein we can monitor the tanks. It should be you should have a clear understanding that Biofloc system or Biofloc technology is not something which you can immediately enter. So you need a lot of technical understanding and you know and have a lot of know-how. So it's best that you take support of people, and in the beginning, as everyone else have also pointed it out. So there should be proper regulations, and there should be proper mechanisms by which knowledge and inputs are disseminated to the common people before people sort of start doing it in a very individual capacity. So this ecosystem has to be managed, and if not, the losses are pretty heavy. As I had mentioned earlier, also the maybe smaller units, the losses are less. But when it comes to huge commercial farms, I mean, the losses are pretty heavy. And also, what you should remember is the cost for electricity and the cost for running a generator when there is no electricity. All this will add up to your cost, and it's not a small amount. So people who are going with smaller units should bear this in mind, that it's not going to be easy. If you don't provide constant aeration, there will definitely be mortality and other complications in your system. Can we go to the next slide? Yeah. So this is so when we had started off with tilapia, as I mentioned. So we have in these systems we have produced tilapia of over 1 kg size, market size. So this has taken us about 7.5-8 months to produce this size, which I from my experience I understand that this is a good and also we are doing it in a high intensity environment. So this is a good achievement, I feel. Yeah. Can we go to the next slide? Yes. So these are all slides relating to I mean, right now we are continuously having batches and batches of our fish, and we are continuously providing it to the market. So one thing which I wanted to highlight is people should be, when they get into this technology, they should remember that time is money, because every day you're spending on electricity costs, you're spending on input costs. So you can't keep holding the fish for a long time. So there should be a definite dissemination route, so that where you can send your fish to the market as soon as possible, because every day once the marketable size is reached, then it's eating into your profits. So there should be a route where you easily market the fish, which I see is a challenge as of now. And the other species that we were trying to work was scampi. So scampi is also being done simultaneously in these farms, and we are getting good results. So as you see, we have reached market sizes, and scampi is a bonus for us, because that's not the main focus. So we are having scampi so that it can disturb the bottom and keep the bottom clean. So this is a bonus that we have integrated into our Biofloc system. So can we go to the next slide? Yeah. So thank you for the opportunity. This is the work that we have done. Yeah, and I would like to thank everyone for listening to my talk. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hitendra, for sharing your experiences. Now it's open